I'm in love with the concept of transness. I'm attracted to it because I feel like I am somewhat of a being that resembles a human. I am perceived as a human by most people. This gives me some of the typical advantages humans have. I get to rent a house and have a job. Not for long on these two things, though. It's okay to lose everything. It's not like I work to make these things valuable anyway. Everything I touch loses value, so the world would be a better place if I were to stop participating in society. I'm a mix between races. I am black and white. That means I am neither. I'm a transracial Frankenstein, rejected by both races. All my life, I was surrounded by white people. Most of those people were white. At some point, most of my life was racism. Racism from my white parents, racism from my white professors, racism from my white colleagues. All of these made internalized racism possible. Internalized racism is awful. Self-hatred is awful. I'm sorry other people may be going through it, because going through it hindered my development deeply. I feel like I'm still lagging behind on social interactions because of this. I don't know how to catch up to everyone else. I guess I can just not do it. I dated a trans girl. I loved her, and I still do. I have much to thank her. She's an amazing human being. I never understood her, the same way I don't understand anybody else. It's not like she's not special, she is. I loved her, and I still do. She's the kind of person you're scared of thinking of in a bad way. I'm writing this script about her as if she's going to read or listen to it. If you make her feel bad, she'll behave in the most toxic way to make you feel unadjusted. I think she would be able to make me kill myself, which would honestly be a relief. Maybe I should reconnect with her. On a positive note, and with a positive note I mean on a toxic note that a sick person like me would evaluate as a positive note, even though it is most definitely a toxic note. Our relationship made me feel liked for the first time. I dated a healthy person for 7 years, and during all that time I hated myself and suffered deeply. This girl made me feel liked for the first time. The way I felt is the way I picture everybody feels about themselves during their whole lives without even realizing it. Think about that for a second. I'm thinking about that for a second. How sick must I be? Our relationship was a long-distance one, or mid-distance. We lived 300 kilometers apart. I'll let you decide on the distance thing. She love-bombed me. Every waking hour we were talking. There was no time for me to remember how awful of a human being I am. She also managed to get me scared of not being good enough, but in a strangely motivating way. Somehow, it motivated me to lose weight, and I did it. It felt good. I was loved every second of the day, and to this day, it feels like the only kind of love I can recognize. Sometimes, I think about my own transness. I am not trans, but I do think about it. On video games, I always prefer to play as the girl. I don't know, it makes me feel good. In real life, there are some aspects of female gender expression I prefer to enact. I would like to be saved, I would like to be courted, I would like to be the one who is sought after. I want to be taken advantage of sexually. experiencing this could be the only way I believe someone were to want me. None of these things are likely to happen. Gender roles don't work like that, and again, I am not trans. I was born male, and my mind is male, if that makes sense. About that girl I dated, I need to address what I said about her. I realized the way I talked about her was from a perspective of a narcissist person, which I am. I did wrong her in many ways. Every time I smelled her weaknesses, I would exploit them seemingly for no reason. Somehow, I needed to elevate myself over her instead of just loving her. Why wasn't loving her enough? She has a lot to fall in love with. She's beautiful, attractive, and has a curious mind. She's also incredibly intelligent and sensitive. I kept triggering her gender dysphoria, talking about her hands, feet, height. I realized I was the worst partner she could ever have. Maybe not the worst, but definitely not the one she should have. What the fuck was my problem? I'm deeply sorry for all of this. I never apologized to her directly. This may be one of the reasons I cannot make friends. I make them feel bad and don't even know I'm doing it. I have a friend that's kind of like this too, and I keep thinking that we're both sick people. I don't know what the future holds for us, but it feels like there should be none. Sometimes she wants to hang out, and honestly, more and more, I'm scared of doing it. I look at her and the mirror of toxicity is asphyxiating. I don't think she has a concept of other human beings being sentient. Therefore, I don't think she's able to be happy for them, with them, working towards their individuality and self-affirmation. I don't think she believes that even on herself. There's nothing trans about this friend. She's the most heterosexual woman I know. It's hard to explain it, but despite all of her flaws, she's the only woman that makes me believe that women can want men. With the internet filled with horrible man-hating discourse, her raw sexual appetite makes me believe that not all is lost. And this is all funny, considering she cannot stop thinking about the patriarchy, how the patriarchy is the root of all evil. Those instances scare me, despite my reaction always being the same, laughing it off. I can never share any of these thoughts with anyone. I'm sharing this in hopes a random YouTube user stumbles upon this channel and understands them. That would be so cool. I'm such a coward. I'm so scared. I'm still a little boy that hid himself in his room and built Legos for days. Video games were also helpful. Now, as an adult, none of those coping mechanisms help. I'm incomplete. I'm a transhuman. Whether this is the last video or these videos last for years, I don't know. But just remember, no matter how bad things are, at least you're not me. You'll do alright.